Hello there and welcome to my project Alpha. My name is Dan Lewis and I will be taking you through the level and talking about all of its features. This game is a 3D third-person action and adventure game based around the protagonist Omega, who is a wolf-type character. The inspiration for this project came from such games like Sonic the Hedgehog, Spyro the Dragon and Crash Bandicoot. Set in a fictional mountain and winter environment, the objective of the game is to reach the top of the mountain, collecting gems and to defeat a couple of enemies. Before we get into the level, this game is built for the Xbox One. I am currently using an Xbox One controller. If you have noticed on the screen, we are asked to press the A button to begin, so let's do that. As we are taken to the loading screen, you will notice a looping animation of a character running across the screen and falling. Also, snow falling can be seen, which is telling the player that this level is set in a winter environment. As we begin the game, immediately we can start roaming around the area. Now, except for the tree models, I have created all of the assets within this project. I borrowed the trees off of the content examples from the Unreal Engine library. Creating sound is not one of my strongest skills. The majority of the sounds you hear within this level have been borrowed from the internet and I just simply implemented them into the level. I created the music that you heard for the introduction and I also created the dialogue for the characters. Here we have some platforms that I created in 3ds Max along with some grass and a wolf statue. The textures have been borrowed from the internet and applied to the assets and the landscape. So now let's start playing. As we approach these multiple platforms, you will notice this pop-up has appeared. There are pop-ups scattered around the map as this level acts as a tutorial, so the players are being taught the base mechanics. So here we are told that if we press the A button then we can jump. Also if we double tap the button then we can perform a double jump. All of the animations have been borrowed from Mixamo and I have created animation blueprints in order to perform different animations within different areas or when a certain action is performed. Next we are being told the different values of the collectible gems scattered across the map. So green gems are worth 5 points, the red gems are worth 10 points and the blue gems are worth 15 points. So let's jump across the rest of the platforms now. And now there is a small cutscene of the animated chest character running away from us, falling over and losing its gems. So if we continue now and collect these gems along the way. Also, if I was to press the start button on the Xbox One controller, this will bring up a pause menu. From here I can press the A button and return to the main menu or press the Y button and shut down the game. However, if either of these options are selected, then the player will return to the beginning of the game. Now, there are checkpoints placed within the level, mainly before each hazard. So if I jump into this water, you will see the loading screen will appear and I will return to that area. Now you may notice that when this game loads that the gem count on the top left hand of the screen has gone back to 0. When creating the save system it was all working fine until I started adding the loading screen. The checkpoints still work, however I have not had the time to fix the gem count error. Instead my main focus was on being able to have a game that worked from start to finish with working AI and a fully animated character. So now if we continue to cross these floating / sinking ice cubes, you will see another chest character has spotted us and ran off and unintentionally given us its gems. So let's take those and walk through this cave area. Now we are coming up towards this temple type building. Again, some sacrifices have been made during the building stage of this project due to prioritising the characters and main mechanics of the level. Initially, this area was going to have multiple paths where the player would have to figure out where to slide these blocks in order to place them in the correct position. However, as it is now, all we must do is push these blocks into the nearest corner until we hear a sound. This sound confirms that the blocks are in the correct place. Now that all the blocks are in position, we can see the ice has melted around this chest. So if we walk up to the chest, a pop-up will appear telling us that we need to press the X button to open the chest. So let's close this pop-up, press the X button and the chest opens. So now we have obtained a new item, the Fire Gauntlet. Press Y to use it. So if we close this now, a door will open to the next room of the temple. So we have obtained a new item, let's press Y and we can now launch fireballs. It is a good job too, as we seem to have an enemy in front of us. First, let's avoid these spike traps as they will inflict damage to the player and could kill us. So now we have an enemy walking towards us. Let's throw some fireballs at it. It should take 4 hits until the enemy is defeated. I was a little bit disappointed in myself as I wanted to purely focus on the characters overall, including the appearance of these characters, but having them function properly, including the entire level, was my top priority. This area that we are walking through now was initially supposed to have a boulder chasing us, but instead I just covered the area with foliage and placed some more gems for the player to collect. So let's continue through this area of the map until we reach the next hazard. So we have another platform area, just like the one at the beginning of the level, except this one is a little bit larger in scale. And the platforms are slightly smaller, making it a little more difficult to jump across. As we cross the last bridge, it's time to climb up to the top of the mountain where the finish line awaits us. Except, well, it's probably not going to be that simple. Like I mentioned earlier, there are a couple of enemies and we have only seen one, so maybe there is another one up there. As we reach the top, we can see one of those purple portals that we also saw on the main screen and loading screen. Now we are up against the boss of the level. Every time this boss plays a throwing animation, it will shower us in rocks. These rocks will inflict damage to the player if they hit, so I will try and dodge these as best as I can. You may also notice that the snow here is thicker and is being removed as we walk through it. So let's throw some more fireballs at the enemy until the health bar at the bottom of the screen has been completed. Once the enemy has been defeated, we will get a pop-up congratulating the player on completing the level, and then we will be redirected back to the main menu. Thank you all for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it.